All right, this is James Pelton, and I'm here with another project. And one thing I love about these AMAs is the more I look into this project, the more fascinated I get. As I was reading through the white paper this morning, I was like, "Wow, this is actually pretty cool." Some of the stuff going on. So, thank you for everyone who's joining us right now. I'm streaming to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So if you could, first off, hit the like button if you're watching this, because that helps YouTube know that this is good content, and it is going to be good content. And then go ahead and comment where you're watching this from, whether it be YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, and maybe comment just where in the world you're at. You don't have to like give your address, but like just country maybe, or if you're in the U.S., the state you're in. I'm in Nebraska in the U.S., but that would be great. And if you have questions as we go, feel free to ask them, and I'll keep an eye over there and on the comments, and we'll at the end we'll bring some of those questions up. So thank you. This is are you the founder from Rich DAO?
Yes, the best way to describe myself is I'm the Daniel Siesta, the Wonderland guy. I'm him of the Rich DAO ecosystem.
Okay, maybe let's use it. Maybe you're the Elon Musk of the Tesla. Can we say
Well,
that?
look, if I said that like a month ago, right, there'd be a lot more hate. But nowadays, I think it's chilled with him because he had a
Okay.
lot of issues. But no, I'm basically just the founder and spokesperson for the DAO.
Okay. Very cool. Well, would you mind by just kind of starting out by just introducing maybe yourself and then kind of your background and then how you found your way into Rich DAO?
Yeah, so my background is I have worked in the finance field for several years now, as mainly an audit and assurance consultant, as well as a financial auditor. Um, and I've been in crypto since 2017, was a part of that bull run, took a bit of a break, came back for DeFi summer, and have been sort of in it since. And what was the second part of that question, just in regards to like why I founded the DAO?
Yes. Yeah. Like, yeah. How did you find your way from, auditing in the traditional finance world to Rich DAO?
Sorry, like the best way to say it, right, is crypto creates so many unique experiences that you just can't get out in like the normal world. So in order to create a company, there's a lot of hoops that you go through, right? And a DAO isn't considered a company just yet, but it has sort of the same intrinsic qualities of it in regards to you have people at the top, you have your shareholders, which are your token holders who hold the governance token, and that in itself creates a very interesting experiment as well as a very interesting idea of being able to create more and more and more for this quote unquote company, but DAO in this case, and create an ecosystem from that.
Okay, very cool. And so there's kind of two parts to what we're going to talk about today, right? There's the Rich DAO and then the Rich City, which is a play to earn game, right? It's an NFT
Yep.
game. Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
So let's start with Rich DAO, and then we'll move over to the game. And we have some fun things with the game. I'm going to show you guys how to get into the test version of the game, where you basically have like unlimited money, right? And so that'll be a lot of fun. You can mess around with it and try to mint, what you're trying to mint. And then I'm also going to give away 10 whitelist spots to the NFT game for people who stick around. So if you leave, then you cannot get a whitelist. But if you stick around, we'll do a giveaway for that. But let's start with Rich DAO. And actually, I'm going to share just the website here, if you don't mind. Let's see if I can do this real quick. All right, so here's the Rich DAO website. So can you maybe just talk through what this DAO is and kind of what the goal of it is, kind of the elevator pitch?
Yeah, sure. So the best way to sort of describe it, right, in the easiest way possible, is it's a place for people to get richer from rich, as well as the fact that we're trying to create a project that acts as a centralized point for an ecosystem of other projects. So it's not so much an incubation fund or like a VC, but it's effectively this centralized point where we're trying to reward people from and branch out into other aspects of crypto to maximize and diversify our offerings.
Okay, very cool. And how long has the DAO been around?
It's been around for a few months now, hasn't it? It's been around since, I can get you the exact date, but don't quote me on it. It's been around since just after January, beginning of Feb, if I'm not mistaken. So it's been about 2 months now.
Okay, very cool. So this kind of functions similar to like Olympus and Time Wonderland. Is that correct?
Yeah, so the base model of it is a own fork effectively, right? And then from there, how we sort of differentiate from that is what we're going to pivot into, or what we're just sort of deciding for this ecosystem. So um, one thing we've got going for us at the moment is the ability to sort of incubate and create more than just this own fork is the best way to say it. Um, but effectively, yeah, it is a own fork. It's a place for come to people to stake, to enjoy the rebase, and enjoy the dividends that we're hopefully and expecting to create for them.
Okay. Do you have thoughts on as we've seen kind of a lot of the other DAOs have kind of, tumbled a little bit. We'll put it that way. Do you have thoughts on like how to, make this one last while the others have failed, or how to, keep that sell pressure down? Do you have thoughts on that?
There's a lot of things to sort of consider, and you're opening up a can of worms in regards to
Yes.
asking.
That's
Well,
that's what
no,
I
because
do here.
I've been researching it for about like a good month now, right? So in regards to what had failed with all these DAOs and what's sort of happening here to a certain extent, can be mitigated. We're trying to do that with the release of this new project, and we're expecting some good things on the way. But a lot of the circumstance is around like, okay, does the own fork model work? If you look at it, it's based on RFV in the treasury, which is risk-free valuation. So long as there's more um, USD equivalent, so MIM, USDT, USDC, whatever equivalent, then there are active tokens in the system, right? The rebases will continue to occur. So if you look at it, right, um, there's enough risk-free valuation in the treasury to last for another 50 to 100 days, whatever it is on the dashboard. So long as money keeps going into the treasury, the rebases will still occur. And at the end of the day, the token is worth $1. That works in principle. It's more so just the case of like, there will be a few things we'll need to adjust. We've been researching this for a bit now, and we're seeing a resurgence, or not even resurgence, sorry, a surgence in the Titano forks. And if you look at them, right, they combine the both, like best of both worlds of like a reflection token as being the sell tax, buy tax, and that gets sort of reinvested into the ecosystem, as well as the rebase mechanism. So you can see that people have looked at the own fork already, right, and have made some adjustments to it. So what we need to do is the exact same thing. So does this work as a baseline thing? Maybe, maybe not. So long as there's money in the treasury, the rebases will still occur, and at the end of the day, it will still be worth $1. But yeah, there'll be a lot of things that maybe need to be adjusted. Either way, with the release of our new project, as well as with the ideas that we have to come, we expect this to be around.
Okay. Well, let's put a pin in that for 1 second because this is coming up in the comments. But do you want to talk about? We were talking about this before we went live, but do you want to talk about your philosophy behind doxing and KYC? And some people are saying, hey, why not why not turn on your camera? Why not show your face? Do you just want to talk through your philosophy and even what we were talking about before we went live?
Yeah, so there's two things people sort of don't realize when it comes to project creation or working at the top of like a crypto project. One is the regulatory concerns. At the moment, right, this is the time where crypto is under a bit of a microscope. I think there was something passed in the EU Parliament, or something is being like attempted to pass, right, in regards to like, okay, considering projects as no longer just these random things online, right, but like actually regulated. Um, because of that, yeah, if you're working as someone like who runs a DAO or who is a part of a DAO, do you then want to be considered the equivalent of someone who's working in a company, say for example? So because there's a lot of question marks over the regulatory concerns, why would you want to take the risk? So that's where the KYC risk comes in. So irrespective of like what people think in regards to, okay, KYC stops people from rugging, um, yes and no. It stops them from blatantly rugging, but it doesn't stop them from exploiting the back end and just saying that there was an exploit. So KYC is like security theater to a certain extent, yeah. So in regards to doxing identity as well, um, as an influencer, we sort of talked this beforehand. Like, how do you feel about showing like your face and real name?
Yeah. So yeah, we were talking about this before we got on. It was actually fascinating. but yeah, so for me, I'm just kind of careless. I've had people like, threaten me and say, "Hey, you said this project was good and it wasn't. I'm going to come get you." But just kind of my experience has been that like what people are behind their keyboards is not what they are when you're face to face with them. Like I've had people say terrible things behind the keyboard, but then when I like talk with them, they're like, "Oh no, I'm so sorry I said that." So for me, like I feel like people treat me better because they see my face. It's like I have less fear. I feel like they would attack me more if they couldn't see my face. So that's just my philosophy. But again, I totally get. I was talking. I was actually on the phone with Jesse Eckel. If you're familiar with him, he's
Yes,
a
I am.
YouTuber, and we were talking about how the SEC. We're not sure how crypto is going to work out with the SEC, and so we're always have to be careful about how we're promoting projects or not promoting projects. And if we were anonymous, it'd be a lot easier. We wouldn't have to worry so much about what's regulations is going to come in. And some countries are a lot stricter than the U.S. is even. So I get it from both sides. So I don't pressure anyone into doxing. And I don't discourage anyone from doxing. I just kind of, if you want to do it, if you don't. And for people who are watching who are like, I don't want to trust someone who is anonymous, then it's, for me, it's kind of like, well, then go to the next project. Like that's fine. That's totally reasonable to say, I only want to invest in someone who I've seen their face. And so then this might not be the right project for you. And that's fine. Like we don't have to, fight too much about it. Like we can just say, okay, this project has anonymous founders, and that's part of what this project is. There's been projects with anonymous founders who have done great. There's been projects with dox founders who have fallen apart. So I don't know. That's my thoughts on it.
Well, I'll say one thing just to like a real life experience, right? Because I work in the financial audit industry, and you sometimes find stuff that people don't want you to find, and they know who you are, and you're talking to management about this, and management aren't particularly happy that you found something. You know that you need to report this. They know you need to report this. It might get a bit messy if you report this. And I've had people like threaten me in regards to, um, potentially reporting something. So if I had my identity safe in that circumstance, I would feel less threatened and more willing to do things that are right. And I've reported this. I didn't give a fuck in the circumstance, right? But it's more so a case of like, okay, anonymity allows you to sort of act in a way that you can just like act, if that makes sense, right? You don't necessarily do wrong things because you're anonymous. You can just sort of be in a position of like knowing that you're safe as well. And
Yeah.
especially with the regulatory concerns, like that is like a huge thing at the moment.
Yep. Yep. And Ben says don't invest in Bitcoin then. So I mean that's a good point. And
Yeah.
part of the purpose of DAOs in particular is that there's not really supposed to be a founder per se. Like it's supposed to be decentralized, right? So in some ways, especially for a DAO, I think it makes sense to be anonymous because if a DAO is focused around a person, then it's not decentralized, and it kind of defeats the
Yeah.
purpose in a lot of ways.
Exactly right. But
So
that was good. Yeah, that was good by the way.
yeah, thank you, thank you. Sometimes I have some good ideas. Do you want to talk about any like audits or KYC or something? Just like if people are like, well, we've seen a lot of rug pulls. How do we know this is not one of those? What kind of audits do you plan on doing or anything like
So
that?
we're doing a CertiK audit at the moment, which is underway, right? For the DAO. What that's going to expose is we're a DAO, we're an overfork, yeah. So part of that is like it's security theater at the end of the day. For the most part, it can provide like a lot of insight into like here's what's going wrong or like potential exploits that you weren't aware of. Audits are, I work in the audit industry to begin with, so I understand how important an audit is, right? But also I understand how much of a waste of time it is at some point. But we've got a CertiK audit underway, and we're not discrediting that whatsoever, right? We're not. I'm not shitting on that. I'm also just giving my own opinion. And in regards to KYC, once again, it goes back to the regulatory concerns. It, yeah, that's like a legitimate issue at the moment. It's the CertiK audit is 70% done.
Okay.
That's what I just got in regards to that.
Yeah. And for me, so the audience knows, for me, this is why I do so many AMAs, is because for me, talking to the founder gives me more faith in are they going to rug pull, are they not going to rug pull, than any type of, badge that says, oh, this is CERTIC audited. Like when I talk to it, like I just talking with you today, this is the first time we've talked. I was going to say face to face, but the first time we've talked, but like I feel pretty just hearing your voice and hearing your attitude towards thing, I would be pretty confident. Hey, he's not going to rug. He's trying to build something. Now that doesn't mean the project is going to succeed, but I'm confident that you don't have malicious intent and that you're trying to build something. So that's why I do these AMAs personally.
Well, I'll put it this way, right? Like, the people always like claim rug, and people use that as like a boogeyman word nowadays to begin with, and they don't sort of realize it's like we're still here. If we've got a rug at any point, right? Why wouldn't we be rugged when we were like way higher? Like, why are we still here doing all this? So like, I don't know. People people are very paranoid in crypto. Yeah.
Yeah, for good reason. Like there's
For good, no,
shady
for
things.
good reasons.
Yeah, yeah, awesome. Okay, so pin out of that one. So we talked about that. So but going back to Rich DAO. Okay, so I think what we found in the industry is that the DAOs and the nodes and the Titano forks, they're all basically, we found they're good ways to build treasuries, right? But they're kind of fundraisers where I think we're finding for something else. So they're not really ends in and of themselves, we're finding. Like they kind of build this treasury and then kind of fizzle out. And so they're funds building for something else. So do you want to talk about that something else? Like what's the
Yes.
purpose?
But this is what we've looked into as well, right? Then this is what we've like what I'm doing a case study of at the moment. So a lot of these like, okay, how do I put this? Everyone in crypto tends to have some sort of attention deficit disorder in regards to long-term survivability of a project. They want moon overnight, and if they don't get it, they're out of the project, right? Um, Irrespective of that, a lot of these projects are built to sort of survive long term. As I said, with the rebasing, it's based on risk-free valuation in the treasury, as well as the fact your point in regards to these projects being a fundraiser for something else, because of the attention issue of people within crypto. And I'm not blaming the crypto community or anything like that. Yeah, this is just like literally you see it across the board. You saw it in Ohm, you saw it in Wonderland, you saw it in all the other Ohm forks. So this isn't specific to just us. This is just across the board, and this is just a crypto issue. They don't allow these projects to get to that stage where they've released something else to provide a dividend to the main sort of DAO. So the point of releasing all these projects is to build an ecosystem. Once that ecosystem is developed, the main sort of governance token holder, right, of the original, yeah, is the one that's going to be most rewarded because that's where it's going to feed back into. So a lot of situations is based on these projects don't get given that long-term chance to actually get to that stage where they can reward people in the project for dividends. So another thing, and what we're looking at as well, is with the $1 floor, right? People always just see the value of these tokens as $1. Something that we're looking into at the moment and we're hoping to sort of implement is potentially raising that to a $5 floor, then hopefully getting that to a $10 floor. So people can sort of feel confident that it's not just going to be a $1 token. So there's things that we're looking into, and I can't announce anything officially, blah, blah, blah. But yeah, there's a lot of things that people just haven't considered when it comes to the Ohm fork, and there's a lot of things that they can do, but people just pivoted to whatever's like flavor of the month is the best way to say it. So I hope that answers your question.
Yes, yeah, it does. Totally does. So for your guys' treasury, it sounds like you're kind of part of what you're doing is this new game, right? Like that's kind of a big. Do you want to talk through the game a little bit? And I want to share just my screen a little bit too, just to give people. I'm a huge sucker for games, by the way. So you were smart to approach me with this because I'm a sucker. Like I saw this and I was like, oh man, I want to. Look, it's got Grand Theft Auto vibes for sure. But do you want to talk through kind of what led you to this, and then kind of the vision for this?
Well, so keeping with the theme of the DAO in regards to wanting people to get richer, not poorer, we wanted to do something that's Vice City based as well, right? As well as P2E is still popular, as well as has like a lot of potential current use cases, just of like the staking passive income mechanism, as well as the case of like once you give a lot of attention and care to an NFT project, you can build it into something massive. So what you see right now is a season one. So you see a simple season one without sort of realizing, right, what can we turn this into and what can we do? So we've looked into many NFT projects in this case. And one of the things that we're really excited to do is create a season two based on making an NFT with another NFT project. So you have NFT A, NFT B, both communities come together, you buy that other NFT and you create NFT C. This NFT C is the result of these two projects coming together, creating a new NFT, and then using that as the season two. If there's ever got to be a season two, what that is going to be based on, right, is subject to whatever. So there's a lot of exciting things that you can do with not only a P2E project, but just an NFT project to begin with. Now, my opinion is, right, I've never been into the artwork of NFTs. I've never been into it. So the crypto apes, it's more about ownership of the asset than it is about the actual appreciation of the asset. But anyways, I don't like an NFT that doesn't give yield. I don't give that doesn't just reward you for holding it. That's what my focus is. So the whole thing that we're trying to do with this NFT is make sure that people are passively rewarded by holding it, as well as providing future interesting use cases for it. Because crypto is so interesting, it's ever evolving. It's just limited by a person's creativity. And luckily, we've got a very creative team.
Okay, very cool. This is awesome. Now, when you say you don't get into the art of crypto, I mean, why do you not? What's wrong with this art? Like, why do you not like
Well,
that?
it's oh my god, like how do I put this right? Like nowadays, right? Crypto's always been interesting for washing money. With NFTs specifically, it's a very interesting case to wash money. So when you see all these art NFTs, right, and this is an audit case, right, as well that people are looking into. When you see all these NFTs worth millions of dollars, you think in the back of your mind, right? Okay, yes, is it just an appreciating art asset, or is it like art in the real world and they're washing money somehow? So that's why I don't particularly like art-based NFTs. I like yield-based NFTs. That's my
Yeah.
2 cents.
No, I get you. I'm with you. I don't really understand the art-based ones either. So I'm with you.
Yep.
So for those people who I'll show you guys, you can do just the test version is out for now. And I'll show you how you can get started with it. Are you okay if I post the link for people to go to this page and then I'll show them how they can get connected here in a bit?
Yeah, that's what the purpose of the testnet is.
Okay.
So of course.
Okay, so I'm going to post, this is on the test net, and I'll show you how to get connected in a minute. And I'm going to give away 10 whitelist spots to this game. But I want to just know a little bit more about the game. It's kind of police and thief based? Is that correct? Can you maybe talk about like what the differences might be?
So the differences in this case, right? And well, okay. Let me talk about this first, right? So the main thing that we're trying to do is create an ecosystem for the Rich token. So we haven't paired this with like a USDC for the liquidity pool when we create this. We're doing it with Rich because the purpose is to try and reward Rich holders as well as bolster that asset. The main sort of things is we've got a gamify element on top of a gamify P2E element. So just by minting the NFT, we have a lottery system, which we've got to get into later. But outside of what the actual differences are, how do I put it? Season one is season one. We're focusing on season one as just creating the NFT initially. Season two is where we're trying to get it way more interesting. So season one is making sure that we have a product in this case or an asset, right, that is working, getting interest into the asset, and then making sure that season two, right, is actually fully, right, pumping that. So even now, right, it is just what is the purpose of holding this? Well, yield. So it's all about yield in this case, yeah. So you're holding something that is giving you passive yield. On
Yeah.
top of that, right, you're entering into something and being a participant in the lottery system that we have that we're very excited about. But in terms of the differences, there's not much, but it doesn't need to be different in this case because it's a proven model.
Yeah, no, that's right. And so, yeah, so if this is the same rich token that you're using in the DAO, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, so that's really bullish because if you've ever seen one of these games, when people start minting, if people like this game and they start buying the token because they want to mint, I mean, just giving this use case is something, when you increase the size of the economy, usually you see quite a boost in price. So that's really cool. I don't know that I've seen, I'm trying to think if I've seen other DAOs do this. Usually they start with a game
Mm.
and use the minting as the treasury for something
Hmm.
else. So you guys are
Well,
kind of doing it the opposite way.
well, the main purpose is, right, all that would do is foster the narrative that you're just putting money into the treasury, yeah? So if you're looking at like the own fork scenario, it's like, oh, this is just supposed to be building a treasury for something else. We're showing that, well, we're not focused on that. We're trying to build up a ecosystem for token holders. So here is something that you can use your token for. And we're not, well, we are benefiting from this, of course, right? Because token appreciation obviously benefits the DAO in every capacity. But the main thing is, it's like, hey, here's a use for the rich token. What, as you said, what other DAO has done that? And like, that's not the first thing that we've done differently in the circumstance as well. So we have a locking mechanism on top of the wrapped staked token, right? People can lock and get distributions from the actual DAO wallet itself. Yeah. So we have implemented sort of like I wouldn't say it's like a curve VE system, but a locking mechanism to further reward stakers, further reward token holders in this case. The only thing that we're obviously needing to do is make sure the price is at a good level so they even feel more rewarded, because then it'll be very rewarding to do what they're doing. And we are hoping, and we know for a fact that yes, this will, help people.
Awesome. No, that's very cool. So the game looks great. And for those who've never played like Police and Thief, so basically you're minting an NFT using the rich token, and then most of them are going to be gangsters, right? And there's going to be a few SWAT, and then it's going to be similar to Police and Thief. And then you can go read their white paper. I don't really want to walk through all of that if you've never played. And if I'm going to give people access to the testnet here, so you can go test it
Mhm.
out and kind of see how it works. Could you maybe explain, you talked a little bit about it, but explain more of like your long-term vision for the game, and just maybe things to get people excited for the future, like season 2, season 3, and like maybe who you're planning on partnering with, or maybe just give some more details around that.
So in regards to that, right, there's a few hurdles that obviously need to get past. So in order to actually create a good partnership, you need to have a good launch. So no one wants to partner with you if you have a shit launch in this case, right? But even then, so long as you're showing that there's an interest, right, in creating a good product or creating something that is just either different or something that is beneficial to another ecosystem, there's always going to be interest in partnering with you. So assuming, right, and we assume this anyways, because we've gotten a lot of things in place to try and guarantee this. Um, with our launch, it becomes successful. What is the plan for the NFT? Well, as stated earlier, creating a generational 2 NFT based on Project A and Project B's NFT. So not a lot of projects have done this to begin with. That's now becoming a big thing. There was only one project that we found on AVAX last year that had already been doing this, which was AVAX Meerkats, I think their name was. So they had this case of, they had an OG meerkat, another OG meerkat, created a baby meerkat. So they had sort of pioneered this process. That's only becoming big sort of right now. So outside of that, well, what else can we sort of look at? Have you heard of City DAO?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So this is what I mean by NFTs. So they're not just art, they're not just passive yield, they're just something interesting and unique, and it's only limited by your creativity of what you can actually do with them, right? So in regards to looking at other projects to sort of either take ideas from, City DAO is one of them. um, there's another one, I think it's called Treasure DAO, in regards to creating a marketplace where your main NFT is, how do I put it? Oh God, I researched this the other night, right? And we've been researching this for a bit, but when you've got so much things to consider and so much things you're excited about, it just becomes a bit of a nightmare to keep track of them all.
Oh
But
yes, no, trust me,
oh,
I know.
no, in the last few days, like literally just project to project to project, just looking at different things to sort of iterate on. There's so many interesting things that we're looking at, and one of them, as I said, is just creating a Gen 2 NFT using the Gen 1 NFT as the residual in this case, right? Creating a whole ecosystem, online ecosystem, and branching out potentially into a real world of land ownership, of just facilitating more use cases for your NFT to begin with. I can ramble on and on and on, but at this point, I hope I'm not going on in circles. Do you get my point?
Yes.
There's a
Yeah.
lot of
No.
yeah, we're trying to take it to the moon is the best way to say it without being a moon boy.
The sky is the limit.
Yeah.
And one thing I will say is that even your ability, because what I look for in teams is the ability to pivot. So like even going from like this, Rich DAO, going from this to this is quite a pivot. And so like uh it makes me happy. It puts faith in me in the team that hey, you were able to not just a lot of teams they're here and then things start to get a little shaky, then they kind of just, oh, I guess it is
Yeah,
what
here's
it
the
is.
redemption. We're done. Yeah.
There's no
Sorry about that. We'll
redemption.
move on. Yeah.
Right. And that would be the time to rug pull. When this is
Yeah.
starting to kind of near, it's struggling, that would be the time to rug pull. But instead, this team has put together, this to me looks really, really good. And again, I'll show you here in a minute how you can get in on the testnet and try it out for free.
Just to comment on that, no, if any time to rug, right, it wouldn't be when the token is at its lowest price. It would be the token when it's at its highest price. It makes no sense at this point. As well
Right.
as like just to make sure that's completely dispelled. I don't want to swear on your channel because of whatever, right? But
Yes.
why the hell would we be around for so long and trying to make as much as we can for our holders, yeah, and try to iterate on either our current system or just create something that people can use in a use case for the token? Why would we be bothering with this act when we could have just buggered off like a month ago when the token was at its like highest price? What's the point? Like, what's the point of like rugging now, right? When you
Right.
literally could have done that when it was more advantageous for yourself. It literally
Yeah.
makes no sense.
Right. And instead of and you obviously paid artists and you paid developers and yeah, to me there wouldn't be much point in doing this. And honestly, this I'm just gonna be frank. This does not look that great. Like if I just saw this, I'd be like, I don't know. I mean, it doesn't look that unique or great. But this, like even the art, and I'm a sucker for games, so maybe that's just me. But this looks a lot better. This is what makes me excited. So, could you talk a little bit about launch, and then we'll get into again how people can get a whitelist. Do you want to talk about like launch dates and just what people need to know about that?
Yes. Yeah, just give us 1 second. Sorry, I have 4 different screens open at the
No,
moment,
you're
but
good.
not what I actually need to have open.
And
Where's
I'm
the
going to
get book?
post there. It says in the white paper some of the dates, and I'm going to just post the link to that for people to see too.
Okay, so in regards to the dates, right? Mid price, mid pool. It's like literally today. By the way, I'm in Australia. This is such a headache when you're working with a global team as well, because they always do stuff in like UTC or like CS. Like it's 1:50 in the morning here, yeah,
Oh,
and
I'm
like
so sorry.
it's no, please don't be sorry, right? Like I know what I'm signing up for. So it's April 8th, but for me it's 8th at the moment. For you it's 7th, yeah.
Right.
So it's April 8th at 12 p.m. UTC. The game release pre-sale starts. April 8th 1 p.m. UTC is when the public sale starts. And once everything is minted, 100% of all mints occur, there's going to be an airdrop. But we don't suspect that to, well, actually, no, we could expect that to happen quite quickly. We've seen some interesting people talk about it. But either
Yeah.
way, those are the dates.
Okay. So it's 7 for me. It's 7 a.m. Central Time tomorrow.
It's
Is
oh my, I can't stand global times. I can't
I
stand
know
it.
it's well, and then when you cross the date line, it gets really confusing.
I'll
But
get
yeah,
one of my associates to send you something because there's a very interesting application. The Unix timestamps. So Discord, especially, right, uses you can use this in Discord, and it will translate all dates, right, and all times to
yes,
whatever it should be for that person. So rather than have to deal with 8 p.m. UST, 12 p.m. blah blah blah, you can just use the Unix timestamp. I'll get my associate to send it to you.
yeah, that'd be great. Okay, so this is the dates, and then public sale will start just an hour later. So kind of pre-sale gets you in. Do you get a discount for being on the whitelist?
Yeah, of course. Is a discount. Just let me ask what it
Okay.
is.
Okay.
So just 1 second, sorry.
So it's good to get a whitelist.
Yeah.
That's all we need to know.
Well,
I'm
it's
going
very
to give
evident. Yeah.
away 10 whitelists as part of this. So if you are interested in a whitelist, just go ahead and comment. Well, I always like this power here of like, what could I have people comment? Comment James is the. This is. I have an ego. Okay. Comment James is the best YouTuber, and 10 people I will pick from to get whitelists for this launch that's coming tomorrow. And then I'm also going to show you how to get signed up for the testnet. So this is actually pretty fun because you can basically get like unlimited money and just test everything out. And I think that's really cool. Oh, we got some Jameses. You guys are so kind. James is the best YouTuber. James is the best YouTuber. Look at this. You guys are the best. So I'll give that like as I walk through the testnet, we'll let people comment that, and then I will pick 10 out of those who comment, and it's going to just be random. Okay, so um, there you go. So let me go ahead and walk through how to do testnet. And actually, this is pretty cool because actually you'll learn some just about how nets work too. Okay, so the first thing you need to do is you need to go to this website. So this is the testnet website. So the real net is not out yet, but you're going to go there. And then you need to add the Phantom testnet to your MetaMask wallet. Okay, so this is a really handy site, chainless.org, where basically you connect your wallet and then you can add any network to your wallet. You know how usually you have to go type in the RPC address and all these things, and it's kind of a pain. Here, you can add them all to your MetaMask, and we're going to select testnets. And then I don't think there should be too many, but we're going to do Phantom. So add the Phantom testnet to your MetaMask. Okay, so you're just going to click that button. And I think mine's already in there, so it's not going to, it should pop up like, hey, do you want to add this, confirm? And then do you want to switch to it? I think will be the second question. Okay, so you want to do that. Click add to MetaMask, switch to the Phantom testnet. Okay, now this is a test network. Okay, it's not real. Okay, so then you can go here. This is official Phantom thing. This is their faucet on the testnet, but you can enter your wallet address here. So you just paste it, you copy here, paste it here, and then you can request FTM, and then they just send you FTM. Okay, now don't get too excited because it's just on the testnet, so it doesn't actually, you know, if this was real, you could just be like, yes, this is awesome. Although you can only request 10 every 5 minutes. So anyway, so then you are on the testnet and you have some Phantom. So then you can go back to this testnet website. You can go to Mint and you can buy some Rich. And I believe it should just add into your wallet. Is that correct? Let me just confirm this. You guys get to see this is, and people always think, oh, don't give away. The way Trezor does it is they randomize your keypad each time. So you guys still don't know my password. I just confirm there, confirm on my Trezor here, safety first. Then I should get some Rich here. And then you can pretty much do everything on the testnet that you can do on the real net, if I'm correct. So you can go ahead and mint. And it is pending in my wallet. I probably should have given it more gas.
Oh no, I think it worked.
There it went.
Oh.
There you go. So I got some Rich. So you can do that and get some Rich. Then you can mint. And do I need to change gas or I should be okay?
I think you need to be at 220 if it fails, but
okay, we'll try. Yeah. This is why I love live. We were talking about this, like, what if this doesn't work? But it's like, then you kind of learn.
Yeah, like that's where we are. Start sweating, dude.
Yeah, it's like, Preston, I'm just kind of showing how you can get set up on the testnet to mint things. While we're doing this, while we're waiting for this, do you want to talk about the lottery? I know you were excited about that, and I'm not totally sure what that is. So you want to tell us about that?
Yeah, so the best way to say it is if you're playing a P2E, why not include like another game element on top of what you're doing, right? So what is the lottery? So everyone who mints an NFT using Rich, 90% of that goes reinvested into liquidity, and then 10% of that goes to this lottery pool. And the idea is effectively, if no one's going to mint, well, the last 10 people who have minted are rewarded. So if you were part of the last 10 people that had minted and the timer had run out, you would get, if you were the 10th person, the lucky last, 51% of that lottery. Then if you were the second to last, just let me get my numbers straight, because as I said, I'm a bit of a goldfish memory at the moment.
Yeah.
So if you were the last person to do so, you get 51% of the jackpot. If you're the second last person to do so, you get 20%. The third to last, 15%, and the remaining 7 people would get 2% each of the remaining 14%. So the idea is, right, you're not only getting an NFT, but if no one else mints, you're part of the lottery pool in the circumstance that might get rewarded if no one else is going to mint. So every single time someone mints, an hour is added on. So it's, you know, a case of like there's always still a chance for you to be included in this case, but the moment it becomes not active anymore, that's where your fingers crossed, right? No one else actually mints. So not only are you getting an NFT, but there's another game element for those who are interested in. And there's going to be a lot of rich there. So if you want to become richer, not poorer, I would advise doing it.
Wow. So this is like one of those old auction sites where it counts down, and then when somebody bids, the timer goes back up, and then you're trying to be
Yeah.
that last one. Okay.
So the idea though as well, right? Because this could go on forever is a thing, yeah? We will look into as well if we actually should make it perpetual to make sure that, you know, it's not just going on forever and ever. This is something we're looking into at the moment as well. So we'll look at the initial minting numbers, et cetera, et cetera. So we won't, you know, do anything dodgy with this is probably the best way to say it. We'll look into
Yeah.
it to see who's actually doing it.
Okay. Very cool. Yeah, I like that. I like yeah, anything that you can do to another thing I've seen in some is like whoever mints the most for the day gets a certain prize or something like that. There's a lot of fun games that you can do with things like that.
Well, the one thing we will consider in this case, and this is something that we're looking into, we just need to sort of look at the initial interest as well. Probably someone who mints within a certain range, might do a mint one free. So to actually reward people for doing it. We are looking just into it. We need to see the initial numbers at this case, but we want to make sure that people who are participating in the minting process, as well as just the game process, feel rewarded. So if
Okay.
they've, you know, minting now, minting later, we've got something planned. Is the best way to say it.
Awesome. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to give you 5 more seconds to comment before I do the giveaway. But I just want to show you again on the testnet. We were able to add some Phantom and buy some Rich, and we minted 2. And then you can go over to your stake, and you can go to your wallet, and you can see I minted 2 gangsters. So there's actually a third. I didn't realize there's a third NFT, the gangster lead, which I assume is very rare.
No, it's based on getting level 4 and 5 of your gangsters. So
Okay.
you don't need to get randomly lucky. You can get lucky with their level that you mint. But in this case, if you just spend some cash on your gangsters and bling them out and upgrade their weaponry, you can become a gangster leader.
Okay. Very cool. Okay, very cool. Yeah, I love it. So you guys can hop on here. Anybody can hop on here and mess around with it, and you can hop in their Discord and talk about, hey, you should do this, you should do this. I found this problem, all these things. So that's awesome. All right, before we continue on, well, is there anything else that you want to talk about the game before I go ahead and do the whitelist drawing?
Um, this is where this is what I don't know. Like this is where I sort of like fall down in regards to, because I've talked about it a lot, right?
Yes.
But and I'm not particularly a moon boy in this case in terms of like, oh yeah, just do whatever. But like, I would recommend getting an NFT because it's not so much the value now in this case, right, that you should be looking at. With all things, you should never just look at the overnight appreciation of an asset. This is my finance background coming in. You're getting in at the ground floor. So if you see value in something, right, don't look at it today, right? Don't look at it even tomorrow. Look at it a week from now, a month from now, because the idea isn't just to be around in a day or a week. It's to be perpetual in this circumstance. So see value now and see value later, because that's what we're focused on. So I hope that's a good pitch.
Yes. No, that is good. Except for, yeah, you wouldn't recommend it but because we don't give financial advice.
We don't give financial advice, of course, which
Yeah.
is why, luckily, in this circumstance, I can say whatever hell I want in regards to financial advice. But
Yes.
unluckily for you, you've got your face showing.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, right.
This is why doxing and KYC has its advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah. One thing I will say, I'm trying to think the best way to say this. So one thing that I will say, just my thoughts. Okay, I'm not telling anyone to do anything, or just the way I think through this, because I think it's helpful for people just to know how I think through it. But again, I'm not advising anything. I need to switch connections, but I was looking at the chart. Okay, so we are at kind of I'm gonna just show it. Okay, we're at kind of a not a great point in the chart, right? Which is part of the reason that you're doing a pivot, right? So from my perspective, this game adds a lot of buy pressure to the Rich token, and it's at like the lowest point. So from my perspective, I would kind of see the Rich token as, for me, possibly a good investment right now, just based on that fact. And then I really like these bonds. For those of you who don't know how this works, but you bond. How long is your bond period?
5 days. So
5 days.
Yeah, 5 days. We've seen other projects that have done like 3 days and whatnot, and you have to control the ROI if you got to do 3 days, because otherwise it's just going to dump like massive sell pressure.
Yes, absolutely. So basically, for those of you who aren't familiar with DAOs and how bonding works, basically you can buy Rich at a discounted price, but it takes 5 days for you to get it, so it vests for 5 days. But if the price goes up, then that is going to be a good bet for you, because you get in even lower than the price it is now. You get in 20, and this is a pretty big bond right here. Don't do the negative ones. That wouldn't make
definitely
sense.
definitely don't do the negative ones. 25%. Yeah,
that's pretty high.
Well, that's pretty good. Well, I mean, it's pretty good especially considering how we've got a game launching, right? That's going to be buying Rich tokens effectively.
I know.
So that is actually very good.
Just hopping in here and buying these bonds without even saying anything, but that's just how I think through it. Is I'll probably I try to invest in every project that I have on, so that's probably the way that I'm going to approach it. And then I love the games. Somebody was asking about if somebody says 10 days for the bond, not 5. Oh,
that's been changed, has it?
Okay, yeah, that's good to know. But it's still pretty good. But that would explain basically that's how long it is before you can take it out. So you buy it at this price and get a discount. In 5 days, you'll get your Rich tokens at that discount. So somebody was asking how this compares to like Tavern and Neighbors. And I do think it's important to keep in mind this is more like those play to earn games rather than like a node project. But it is still an NFT that emits a prize, basically a reward.
Yeah, it's a yield bearing NFT. So focus on like passive.
Yep. Okay, so let's go ahead and I will do the giveaway now. Okay, and by the way, when I do giveaways, it has nothing to do with how much I like you. Okay, so I love you all, and if I had, I don't know how many. If I had 150 whitelists, I would give them to all of you, but I don't. So I'm just going to close my eyes and scroll and pick 10 random ones. Okay, so the first one is Vic, and if people win a whitelist here, maybe just you want them to just hop in Discord and just say, hey,
yeah, of course. If you win a whitelist, pop into Discord, and if you don't win a whitelist anyways, just pop into Discord, because we always want to grow our community as well.
Yes, absolutely. So the first winner is Vic. That's number 1. Number 2 is Crypto Gien and Kind Person. Nice. Hey, show some light to Dark Crypto World. Thanks, man. Appreciate you. I didn't pick you because of your kind comment, but I do appreciate it. All right, number 3 is Old Heads Clothing. It's number 3. Number 4 is Sirhan. I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your name. I'm very bad with pronunciation, but you are the winner. Is that 4? This is maybe a bad way to do it, but
well, I was just about to say, like, it might be a bit of a bad way to do it, because like someone could just change their name, right?
I have very honest audience though. Doritos was the next winner, but he did not comment the right thing. So might have to move on. He still didn't comment the right thing. That's not, you're supposed to comment James is the best YouTuber. Next winner, I think this is the 5th, is C. Rodriguez. Maybe DM me on YouTube, and then we'll make sure you're the right person. That's how we'll do this.
Yeah, that's how we do it. That's
Wilson is the next one. And Ray won. He did comment, James is truly the best. And then 2 more. James is the best YouTuber from Des Morgan Films. Mitch did not say the right thing. Said he's a decent YouTuber. That's not right. And the last one is Video Grab Bag. So if I called your name, DM me. This is the first time I've done a live one like this. This is maybe, I'll think through a better logistical way of doing this next time. But DM me on Twitter or on YouTube, and I'll make sure that we get you set up. So awesome. Well, I'm really excited about this. Again, before I talk to founders, and I'm always like a little excited. I'm like, well, that looks kind of interesting. But then after I talk and hear the vision and all that, feel a lot better. So, and just like it. So thank you so much for coming on. Is there anything else that you want to share before we hop off here?
Come to Rich DAO, where you can become richer, not poorer. Outside of that, it's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you very much.
Yes, awesome. So calls to action, hop into Rich DAO, which again, I'll post the link here one last time in the comments. So hop into Rich DAO. That's kind of the OG. You can read the whitelist, or excuse me, you can read the white paper here. And this talks about when launches are and things like that. I'll put that link. And then you can test out the testnet for the rest of the day today if you want, just to kind of see how things work here. Do hop into their Discord, which, let's see if I can grab that link fast. I have to remember too, you guys can see everything that I'm doing, so I better not do anything weird or anything like that. But here's a link to their Discord, and then I'll put a link to their Twitter too. Follow them on Twitter, and then you can kind of, get updates of what they're up to. And of course, follow me on Twitter also, and you'll see more cool projects like this.
Yeah, we'll shout you out in the Discord as well to make sure that you like people know more about you, because you did a wonderful job there as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Well, I appreciate you coming on. Audience, I appreciate you so much that you guys were hopped on here to watch this. Appreciate it. Again, we couldn't do AMAs unless people watched. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for watching, and have a great rest of your day.
Have a wonderful day. I don't know what time it is there, but it's nearly 2:30 here. So anyways, have a good night, man.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. And for people who won a whitelist, okay, let's figure out how we're going to do this. Does YouTube have DMs? Maybe that was
I'm actually not too sure. When you said DMs on YouTube, I'm like, I don't think that's the case.
Okay, here's what I want you to do. If I called your name, DM me on Twitter, okay? And just be really honest about it. And then we'll work it out, okay?
We'll work it out there. I'm sure worst comes to worst, we can maybe supply a few more whitelists if something bad does happen. But let's see if we can avoid that.
Okay. Yep. Sounds great. Thank you so much, man. And I'll think through a better way to do that logistically next time.
Oh, good, man. Have a wonderful night.
Yep. You too. Bye-bye.